And welcome back to Comic Frontline, everybody. I am Brant Fowler, aka the Gonzogoose, back with you for another comic review. This time I'm heading over to IDW for a brand new issue number 1, Galaxy Quest. The Journey Continues, number 1. This is written by Eric Burnham with art by Nacho Arons. So, this is continuing the adventures, obviously, from the, I think it was a 1999 movie starring Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, Sam Rockwell, and I think Kevin Hart. All-star cast, funny movie. I just rewatched the movie last night, so it would be fresh in my mind, and then I reread this book, so everything is, so I can really compare and contrast here. Overall, I'm going to just say that this was a very fun issue, very well done issue. The art is very nice here. Overall, I'll get to one nitpick just here in a minute. But just to show a little bit of the art is fantastic in this book. And it picks up, at the beginning of the issue, it picks up right where the movie is taking place, because the plot of this particular story is that when they activate the Omega-13, it affects this nearby planet that is embroiled in a civil war of sorts, and the Rebel Uprising had gained the upper hand, but because of the Omega-13 going back 13 seconds, it changed that, and it caused that Rebel Uprising to be thwarted, and so now these rebels, for the past several years, have been hunting whoever was responsible for the Omega-13. So now we jump forward in the future, and it's several years after the events of the movie, and the series has come back on the air after like 18 years, and there's a movie in talks and all this other stuff, and these lizard people from this world that were affected come visit Brandon, who was played by Justin Long in the movie, and they realize they're on the right planet, so Brandon has to go contact the rest of the cast and try to convince them that there's an issue, and that's kind of I don't want to say too much more beyond that, but yeah, that's kind of where it picks up. The stars are back. They're doing a Comic-Con appearance in the issue, so it's very much, there's a lot of notes from the movie in the book. Art-wise, if you look at the cover is fantastic, but art-wise, if you notice, the nitpick I'm going to say is that the likenesses are not very good in this book, except for Alan Rickman on the cover. Alan Rickman on the cover, right there, looks very much like himself. Aside from that, here's a page where they show all the characters. I got it right here. None of them, including Alan Rickman's character, look anything like they do, obviously. But it's just like, in the Star Wars book over at Marvel, we got really good likenesses by John Cassaday, and I would expect the same in this particular book, that we would get at least very close likenesses, but they kind of went a completely different route, and I don't know, there may be some reason why they weren't allowed to use the likenesses exactly or whatever, I don't know, but it did kind of take me out just a little bit, because I'm expecting to see Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver, and I see, randomly drawn characters. The one other nitpick I had was Sam Rockwell's character of Chief Guy Fligman, or Security Chief Rock Ingersoll. He was not so much comic relief here as much as a prima donna who was kind of angry and trying to get his own spin-off series and stuff, and it didn't feel like a natural progression to me. It felt like a little forced to, we need this character to be the new version of Taggart, and I don't know, it just bothered me. And the other nitpick I'm going to have is a lettering thing. It's probably just a typo, but the very first time you see Taggart's name, they get it backwards. They type it as Quincy Peter Taggart instead of Peter Quincy Taggart, which they correct on the very next page, but that first appearance in it just bothered me. And there was one other little inconsistency here where they flash back to the Omega-13. They have Taggart telling the computer to activate the Omega-13, where in the movie it was kind of a running joke that he could not activate the computer. It had to be Tawny. she had to be the one to talk to the computer, and he wasn't able to. And in the movie, he actually told Maltazar to activate the Omega-13, not the computer. So that is just a little inconsistency that they could have. I'm surprised the licensor didn't catch that at least. But overall, I mean, even though the likenesses aren't there, and even with those little nitpicks, this was a very fun story. It was very much in the spirit and tone of the movie. I think they've tried really hard. They didn't quite capture the humor of especially Tim Allen's character. They didn't quite capture it, but they really tried hard to. They got most of the voices down pretty well, and for a first issue, this was a really good issue. I mean, I read it through twice, and I enjoyed it both times, and found new things to appreciate each time. This is definitely a series I'm going to be continuing. So, obviously I can't give it a perfect score because of those nitpicks, but I am going to give Galaxy Quest #1 a 4 out of 5 overall. So there you go. That's going to wrap it up. I would highly recommend, if you're a fan of the movie, definitely check this out. Even if you're not, I think it's going to be a fun story for you, and they give you enough history behind it with a little recap at the beginning and the flashback to the final scenes of the movie in there, so you're not lost. So definitely check this out. 4 out of 5 for Galaxy Quest. The journey continues #1, if I can spit it out. But that's going to wrap up this review. Check out all the other reviews and all the other content right here on Comic Frontline. Stay tuned on ComicFrontline.com for a Brodown Showdown, because I know Jay is reviewing this on his channel. So we'll have both of our videos up there, dueling it out. And check out ComicRelated.com, Zone4Podcast.com, Frontline Gaming Zone, together with Comic Frontline, all your #1 source for all your comic news, reviews, podcasts, and so much more. Leave a comment below, subscribe, and until the next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.